In the emergency, we're still.
This is going on. Emerging, first, I told my wife, just get them through it, hit 90, 35 minutes, we'll be home. Because I go to Kingston, it'd take 2 hours. Somebody see me. Right.
Recording in progress.
It's cute.
Everybody ready? Okay. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Kingston Planning Board meeting. Tonight is April 15th, 2024. We're here at City Hall. My name is Suzanne Cahill. I'm the Planning Director for the City of Kingston. Just a couple of announcements before we get started. If you do have cell phones, we just ask you please to silence them so that you don't disrupt any of the conversation. If you do have private conversations that you are not involved with the board at the time, please take them out of the meeting room. You can use the council chambers, or there is another conference room on the other side of the hall. Bathrooms are outside through the chambers. Men's would be to the left, women's to the right. If we do have an emergency, we ask that you please use the stairs instead of the elevator. If you need assistance, please ask us for help. With that, I will call the meeting to order at 6:03, and I'm going to turn it over to Wayne Platt, who's the chairman, to introduce board members and others.
Thank you, Suzanne. We will begin with introduction of the board members. Suzanne said, I am Wayne Platt. We also have board members Robert Jacobson, Matt Gillis, Vince Archer, Sage Newkirk, and Andrew Harris. Suzanne Cahill is the planning director. We also have the assistant planner, Tyler D-Day. Matthew Jankowski is the assistant corporation counsel for the city of Kingston. And we also have Alderwoman Sarah Pasty, who's the common council liaison to the planning board. Item number 1 on the agenda is adoption of the March 18th, 2024 planning board meeting minutes. Everybody's had an opportunity to take a look at them. Is there any questions or deletions or additions that we're suggesting? Okay, seeing none at this time, I'll make a motion that we adopt the March 18th, 2024 planning board meeting minutes. Second by Vince Archer. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
You know, just announced that both Chuck and Carrie.
Okay. Board members Charles Palaco and Kyra Grundy are absent at this time, and Sage Newkirk is going to be part of the voting membership here today, just for our records. Okay, item number 2, we're in old business, doing things a little differently tonight. We're having a public hearing a little later in the meeting. So item number 2 under old business is 336 East Chester Street. Just kind of it's a special permit renewal for, is this person here? Okay, special permit renewal for general commercial auto-oriented services and controlled substance sales. Section block and lot is 48.83-2-1.100. Seeker determination, transect zone is P3N-0, Ward 7, MNZ Realty Holdings Incorporated is the applicant owner. Applicant is not here at this time, so we will wait for that person to arrive, and we'll push this to later in the meeting. When that happens. Item number 3 is 73-75 Furnace Street. It's a special permit renewal to operate a 4-room boarding house. Section block and lot is 56.92-4-42. Seeker determination, transect zone T4N-0. Ward 4, Lyndon Peters is the applicant owner. Mr. Peters, you want to come up to the table, please? Let the record show that Mr. Lyndon Peters is appearing before the board. How are you tonight, sir? All right, so I understand you had a building safety division inspection.
Yes,
And there were some violations that were found as a result of that inspection?
yes,
All right, and there's a follow-up inspection due in the coming weeks, right? Do we have a date on that?
yes. I don't
Okay.
know the date. I already have the stuff corrected by the,
Okay,
You think all of the items that were cited in the
the
inspection?
plumbing guy is still working, he's still
Okay.
doing,
Okay,
Carl Plumbing is doing it. As soon as he's done, that will be it.
okay. So as part of our decision last month that you were here, one of the items was addressing code compliance issues with the Building Safety Division. So we're in need of that subsequent inspection that you said everything's been taken care of, right? So we're gonna need that inspection.
Why do you need that to?
Because we need proof that the code, that all the violations have been corrected. So that's typically, it gets a letter from Building Safety, which is what we would need to move to approval of your application. Okay?
If they're working on it, that's not.
I know, but I say, part of the decision last month was we need definitive confirmation from the building department that those violations have been corrected. So we're not gonna be able to make a decision tonight on that.
Hold on a second, I really don't understand. Let me, so when the last time you all approved, I told you all that the building is being worked on.
Yes,
Right. So what's the difference between it's being worked on now and being worked on before?
okay, well, we understood that it was being worked on. You did testify to that last month, okay? So what we need, as part of our decision, was that we need a letter from the building department stating that the building is in compliance. And we do understand that with that.
Yeah, but I need time to get everything.
I understand that. And so we need to have them go back and do that. We're not going to deny your application tonight. It's not what we're going to do tonight. But we need a letter. There's an inspection coming up in the coming weeks. So what we need to do tonight is make a decision to,
Okay,
all right, so you're going to have to come back again.
okay, I heard you, but
Okay.
let me explain this. All right, there's some parts of the wall have to be closed.
Mhm.
In order for that to happen, the electrician already did his part. The plumbing guy has to do their part.
Yeah.
When that's done, then the walls can close and I can paint and get it ready. My point is,
How long do you need to do all that?
I don't know. When the plumbing guy is finished and the inspector come and tell me, okay, now I can close the walls, then I need to go to the building department and get permission to do the cosmetics or whatever is needed and paint the place and get it ready for rental.
Correct, so
But I can't do that until the,
but how long do you estimate? A month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months?
I don't know.
You're still under construction.
Right.
It seems.
That, yes, it's still under construction.
So how long?
I don't know. I would say like 2 or 3 months.
Well,
Should we table it? I mean, there's no point in coming back every month with this stuff incomplete.
well, there is a section in the code that addresses this type of issue.
Well, what I'm saying, you guys, the last time, you guys gave me permission to, because the work has to be done.
we also asked,
I'm not gonna start renting until that's done.
Okay,
Okay.
and we recognize that that the work is being done, and
Right.
and we applaud you for that, okay? So
Okay.
we recognize that. We're not here to criticize you for anything. So
Okay.
we're acknowledging that work is being done. You're working to get these corrections taken care of,
Right.
that the building department has cited you on.
Right.
So until we get that letter from the building department that all those issues have been taken care of, we can't make a decision until we get that letter. So we're kind of bound by that, okay? So there is a section in the code that I'm told that, that if we decide to do that, then it'll give Mr. Peters 60 days to come into compliance. It's, what section code is that?
40526, capital E2D.
So-
It all depends on my financial condition, you know, just give me the 60 days, like I have money under my trust, or I got a very mother or father somewhere to just bring the money. and get it.
But you just told us it would take you 2 to 3 months.
Yeah,
Okay,
okay, so
so,
what I'm saying, okay, y'all gave me permission before.
Yeah.
Those work still have to be done, what's the difference between that and now?
we,
Well, I think just to clarify, the work, you don't have to be completed and renting within that time. You
Okay,
just have to address the code violations,
okay,
which were some things that when they did their inspection, they found that they weren't in compliance with the work that was being done.
okay.
So that doesn't necessarily you need to be complete. It just needs, you need to address the violations.
All right? So, I mean, if the rest of the board agrees, I think
Well, I
that's
mean,
a
he's
good,
already said he's not gonna have it done in 30 days.
yeah, so,
I'm not the one who's doing it, so when the
No,
plumbing
I
guy
get it.
finishes.
No, I totally
Yeah.
understand. I just don't wanna make you come every month if you're not ready.
yeah,
And the other thing is if you consent to giving the board additional time to make a decision, like you need additional time, you request it,
Right,
then the board can keep basically kicking this out until you have all that completed before they make their decision, rather than
now,
just.
I'm hoping that the plumbing guy finish this week. Then I'm gonna need to, get permission to close the walls, because the walls, some of the walls are open because the electrician went through and some of the things, and then some of the plumbing things went through the wall as well.
question back to you, Matt, are you,
If he consents to more time for us to do decision, it's 60 can be.
Yeah, so separate from that, he can agree to have his application tabled so that he can address these things before you make a decision.
okay,
So if he says he needs 90 days and wants to table 90 days so he can make those corrections,
He has to extend it beyond 60 days.
does that sound acceptable to you?
Yeah, that's,
Okay, see,
What timeframe?
yeah,
well, like I said, as soon as the plumber is finished,
So 90 days,
then I'll,
should we talk again in 90 days? 3 months?
Well, you can leave it there, but if there's any changes, I can call and
So do you
let
want,
you guys
do
know.
you want to come back in July or do you want to come back in September?
No, not September.
because we don't meet in August.
So let's come back in
Let's
July.
July,
And
let's say
then
July.
if you
Okay.
need more time in July, then you would have to then agree to
Extend it.
extend it further, okay?
All right, so that you're making that request then for us to table you want it to be tabled for 90 days, 3 months, and come back in July.
I don't wanna put it as the plumbing guy finish next week and I need to get.
You can come back before that, you just have to let us know.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll go with 90 days for now, okay? And then if things change, you need it, you want to come back in 60 days, you can talk to the,
We're here, we just don't want to drag you every
Yeah.
month.
Gotcha.
all right? But again, we're recognizing that you're doing the work that building safety is requiring you to do. So I want to make that known, okay?
Okay.
All
I
right,
think the other thing too, that when you do come back, if you come back in July and you are still not completely done, that you should provide the board with an anticipated timeline,
Okay.
okay?
okay? So does the rest of the board agree with a 90-day period to table?
Make a motion.
Robert Jacobson with a motion, Matt Gillis with a second, that this board grants a 90-day period to table this, item number 3, item number 3.
Based on the applicant's
Okay.
request.
Yes. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you, sir.
Thank
See you later.
You guys have a home this week.
Okay. All right, we're going back to item number 2. Just the gentleman is here representing that. Do you want to sit down? Sure. All right, this is 336 East Chester Street, special permit renewal for general commercial auto-oriented services and controlled substance sales. Section block and lot is 48.83-2-1.100. Seeker determination, transect zone T3N-of, Ward 7, MNZ Realty Holdings Incorporated, the applicant. How are you tonight?
Thank you.
Can you state your name for the record, please?
Abdul Razaki.
Okay. All right, so we missed you last month, right? But that's okay. You're not the first to do that, so
Yeah, I was
welcome
there
here.
for
All right, any changes to what's going on there?
it.
No? You have, what's the bottle return center? What's the status on that?
Okay, it's gonna be another 1 or 2 months.
Okay,
Good.
but you've got stuff getting set up for that now to
Yeah,
get
that's
up and
what we're doing
running?
it right now.
Okay.
I can start anytime, right?
Okay. And storage of the bottles, all that stuff before it gets picked up by Tomra is stored inside you, that'll be out of the,
Everything,
okay.
everything. It's not gonna be lot, so we do every week. So hopefully,
I know after the meeting last month, you came late, so we did talk to you about a couple of issues on site. And I understand that they've been corrected. There was remnants of an old sign that were left on the roof that's been removed. There were some flag signage that is not allowed. That's all been removed. The site has really been cleaned up fairly well. What are your actual hours of operation? What is the gas
6 to 11.
station store?
6 to 11.
6 to 11, 7 days a week?
7 days.
Okay.
And they had a favorable building safety inspection too?
I think there were just a couple of minor issues identified, the exit light,
Everything done.
and that's all been corrected?
Within
Okay,
one,
so
I corrected and I reported the inspector, Joe, and he said,
okay, so we can follow up. So Joe's been there for a reinspection?
Yeah.
For Necrata? Okay, we'll follow up with Joe and get a final report.
Okay. All right, so there is, there's no vehicle repairs going on?
no, everything is closed. The diner is
Okay.
closed, the water dip is not there, the shop is not there.
Okay,
We had a tenant, it's gone.
okay.
Any plans for the trolley?
Yeah, 2 months more. We're just gonna get the permit for the repair of these things, have to be done outside, inside, paint, repaint, everything, so hopefully we are pleased.
That actually is not, the special permit is for the store and, yeah, so, well, they're not two separate properties, so that would be probably just a minor site plan portion.
Is there any, what's?
No, you don't have to, that would be separate.
Nothing planned for that.
It's gonna be same exactly, but just the paint, just nothing.
Any other issues? Any other things? Any questions from the board? I see that staff is recommending a 1-year term to allow the applicant to complete his work to get the bottle return operation up and running. Everybody okay with that? And Sue, will that be coming back before us, or will it be back before the other board?
If there are, if you issue the, special permit for 1 year, and we get confirmation from the building department that the code violations are corrected, the special permit will simply return back to staff for review and consideration of renewal
Okay.
after the year.
Does that have to be mentioned in our group too?
No,
That just goes-
that's part of the law.
Okay,
Unless there are, if there's any changes, then it would come back to the full board.
Yeah, we had a full inspection with the, two inspector, they came everything, I corrected everything and they know everything. So they like to take everything now.
and you've been in operation there for quite some time, and, back when Andrea had it, so that everything, gets taken care of, it seems,
Yeah,
you know?
so especially the COVID, we have a tenant over there,
Yeah,
they haven't paid us the rent, so we're financially down. $14,000 the diner she didn't pay,
wow,
and the shop guy, top of that, we have to go lawyer, all this stuff,
yeah,
plus, $30,000 stuff. What to say?
wow. All right, under seeker, this is a type 2 action, so no further review of the board is required. Sue's going to go over the policies and the conditions of approval. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve item number 2. And Sue's going to mention you want to get a second on that too? Second by Sage. And go ahead, Sue.
Okay, so the board policies would be 4A, 6, 7, 7A, 10, 11, 12, 13, 19, and 25 for a 1-year term. The Building Safety Division will have to give us a final report to confirm code issues have been corrected. And the hours of operation are 6 to 11.
Okay.
7 days a week.
All right, we have a motion and second that. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Great. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.
Thank you.
Item 4 is 685 Broadway. It's a special permit renewal for auto sales and repairs. Section block and lot is 56.92-3-21. Seeker determination, transect zone T5MS, Heritage Area, Ward 4, Dago A. Maratz is the applicant owner. Nobody is here right now representing this applicant, this application.
Just wait till the end of the meeting. If he shows up, we can review it.
A number of attempts have been made to,
Yeah, I would wait.
yeah, so we'll wait through this to the end. Okay. All right, we are now in public hearings. Item number 5 is 380 Foxhall Avenue. It's a special permit to establish an auto-oriented eating/drinking establishment housing a drive-through coffee business. Section block and lot is 48.302-5-10, transect zone T4N-O. It's in Ward 6, Zubal Holdings Incorporated. Did I pronounce that right? I think I did. I'm sorry. Okay.
Jim, you might want to take these over here.
This is the wobbly.
We don't know what's going on with the chairs, but they're.
Is there anybody besides the applicant or owner wishing to speak on item number 5? Brian, you want to speak on this one? You're welcome. See nobody speaking? Okay. Welcome, gentlemen. Can you state your names for the record, please?
I'm Ashton Zubal.
Jim Fish, Lodge Architecture, LOJ.
I'm Christopher Knox with Crawford and Associates Engineering.
Okay. Welcome, everybody. All right, so this is the former Governor Clinton Cleaners, Tim's Automotive, all right? So everybody's familiar with this on Foxhole and Flatbush. Why don't you tell us what your plans are?
Okay.
All right?
Once again, I'm Ashton Zubal. My family's been here since 2017. I've farmed here for 5 years.
And we're going to have stuff up on the screen behind you too, so just.
All right, yeah, no problem. And so basically, during farming, my brother started coffee roasting and we developed our brand at the farm. And since doing farmers markets all over Ulster County, we realized that it was a need that we definitely need a brick and mortar. Leasing was not an option, and so we spent the last few years just scouting areas. And something that came to light was definitely a drive-through, and anywhere that could fit it. Local, everywhere in the Northwest and the West, it's just kind of a thing to do. And it's something that's not really introduced here on a local level, just mainly on the main franchises kind of hold the monopoly on that. And we roast our own meats, responsibly source them. And yeah, that's the gist of what we're looking to do. It's grab and go, no seating. No one's going to sit and hang out. It's just geared towards kind of the essential workers crowd, if you will.
Okay. So grab and go, you're going to have a drive-through, but people can come in, walk up and both get their coffee.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be there. Okay.
Jim, do you just want to kind of stand up, or why don't you just kind of go over the site plan?
Yeah, I'll start. I'll start, then I'll hand it off
Okay,
to
yeah.
Chris. Jim Fish, Lodge Architecture. The site is 380 Foxhall. It's at Foxhall and Flatbush. It's T4NO. The three of us came in and met with Tom and Kayla and Sue last month, hoping that this would be a minor site plan review. In going through the form-based code, we were up against a special permit for the use because it is auto-based. So what we are looking for is a special permit for a year in order to keep the project going. And then administratively, we'll go through lighting, parking, curb cuts, sidewalk, signage, transparency, all that. And we also had Tom there because apparently Foxhall is going under some renovations soon, and we wanted to make sure that our efforts were well timed and sleeved in with what the city's plans were.
Both streets are being, Flatbush and Foxhall is part of that change.
They are. Yes. Is that Flatbush is part of the renovation
Yes,
as well, not just
right,
Foxhall.
so the city
The whole
has
intersection.
an infrastructure
Yes.
project being designed now. It's Foxhall and Flatbush Avenue. The full extent of the parameters are still unknown at this point, but it would be a road reconstruction project similar to what you've seen on Henry, Franklin, it's going on Prospect, Broadway, so it's kind of soup to nuts. So there's, Foxhall goes from this intersection here all the way back to Broadway. And Flatbush would go up past the housing. That's kind of the parameters that were being looked at originally, so.
Sure. So, I'm Chris Knox with Crawford and Associates Engineering. Jim had a great summary there. I think he hit on all the points about zoning district and approvals that we'd be seeking here. Also, as mentioned by the board here, we've got some upcoming renovations that are going to be happening along Foxhall and Flatbush. We understand that majority of those will be focused sort of around the corner of the intersection, but could also include some sidewalk improvements along Foxhall. And our understanding at this time is that there would not be any sidewalk improvements on Flatbush. The existing site, this is actually the proposed site plan, but the existing site currently has two entrances, one here along Foxhall, which is proposed to remain. There's actually another existing entrance that's along this location and on Flatbush. Per our initial discussions with the city, it was expressed that it's preferred to discontinue use of this existing entrance along Flatbush. Following some discussion about traffic patterns and safety and things like that. The applicant definitely sees the point there and is willing to make that concession. So we adjusted our plan here, and it is proposed to discontinue use of that and provide some additional green space in lieu of that. As far as overall site layout goes, there's really not a lot of change proposed to the existing building. Jim can certainly weigh in a little bit more on the architectural aspects, but the basic footprint of the building is to remain. Just really a lot of cosmetic updates. We do propose some green space a little bit here, where we can, some landscaping up in the northeast corner. And then this area here, like I said, will definitely be coordinated with the city and comply with their updates. But again, we do anticipate adding some nice green space in there in lieu of the existing paved surfaces.
I believe we even had some follow-up with Kyla about the point, that to try to keep the landscaping off the very most edge of the point, because the city was going to be potentially using some of that. Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, and I think the sidewalk will curve around that and go to that crosswalk there.
Okay, all right.
So that's not fully shown at this time, just because we didn't know exactly how the city's plans will end up, but it is the applicant's intent to fully, coordinate and make sure that all ties in nicely.
So your intent is to have a drive around the building?
Yes, exactly.
And
So
on the north end.
So the anticipated traffic pattern would be coming in from Foxhall Avenue, sort of hugging the southern side of the site here. And you can see the arrows sort of mimic the traffic pattern that we're anticipating at this time. So the drive-through menu board, which would be fully automated,
Yes.
by the way, for, the utmost of efficiency. That's sort of part of Ashton's vision is, providing as much efficiency as possible. So hopefully that would keep things moving nice and quickly through the drive-through queue. And then the vehicles would continue along the east side of the building and then to the north at this location here. Approximately, we're anticipating that there would be the pickup window.
But what should be noted too is, although it wasn't as busy as a coffee shop is going to be, the Governor Clinton Cleaners had it, that was their drive-through window pickup with back in the day too. So I don't know if the board members knew that as well.
Yeah, the automotive place, I don't think even covered it up. They just left it as
Yep.
One more thing important to point out is that.
Scale.
Oh, yeah?
It's not Governor Clinton.
Okay.
It's Robert Clinton.
Scanlon?
Well, it was Governor Clinton before Scanlon's.
Way from that, yeah.
One more quick thing to point out is that we recognize there's a pinch point in the back. And so one thing that we discussed when going over the site plan was the ability for a vehicle to come in off of Foxhall and go directly to parking spots in the front, employees as well, so that they don't have to go around the drive-through and potentially have to pass another car. I mean, there are obviously opportunities for a car to pass another one, just not at that corner. So we pulled this back in order to clear this out so someone could come in, park, turn around.
Ashton, I just have a question for you. One of the biggest things that we're concerned about is the queuing and the backing up of traffic, and ultimately potentially impacting the on-street traffic flows. So what in your estimation, your best estimate is like the time from a vehicle putting their order in at the menu board and getting it, picking it up? What kind of time frame do you have any kind of sense of that?
As far, I would say, that's a very good question. As far the drive-through menu board that the company I'm looking into, because it's mainly run, I guess, by AI and things like that. So it's like you were going to a car wash, right? And just type in. We're not doing any like cakes and cups or anything like that, like Starbucks. We're just keeping it to typical espresso drinks and drip coffee. So really, it's your choices are very minimal. You're paying before you get up to the window. So I would say 90 seconds would probably be really a long time. But, for someone to because typically the people who are going and driving know what they get.
So it's all automated, there's no personal interaction with an individual inside the business?
Not until they get to the
Not
window.
until they get to the pickup?
Yeah.
So there's no cash because they're paying before
No,
they
it's
get
cashless.
Okay.
Yeah, even in the grab and go, it's cashless. It's meant to just to keep everybody just kind of moving and flowing.
So what was the thought as to why they didn't want a quick entrance out of the Flatbush like it right on? Because now you're pushing people to the exit to sit there and wait for the light to turn
Okay,
green.
that was the city engineer, because of the intersection, he felt that having the second access retained would be in conflict with what the improvements are going to be. You've got the stop light, if you see the stop bar on Flatbush on the other side is further back.
No, but
so-
I mean, like Wendy's, you can make like a right turn. You come out the drive-through, you just make a right and go
Okay.
Head towards the tracks.
And the code also limits, the new code also limits it to one. So that was it, one entrance and exit.
Oh.
So that was another driving factor.
That's the fact.
That'd be a major waiver.
Because you're pushing, I mean, you're pushing everybody away to the light, so that's gonna back up internally to site.
And it's beyond the stop bar by quite a bit too, right? So they're,
Well, on the foxhole.
But I'm not saying make a left, I'm saying make a right. There is no stop bar to make a right.
Yeah.
All you're doing is looking left, and if there's no traffic, you can make a right, you go Flatbush Avenue right. Now you're pushing them past pedestrians through a parking lot, out to an entrance to wait for a light to go around the corner.
So were you thinking one way in, one way out?
No, I'm just thinking like, I'm thinking two ways out. Like if somebody wants to go up Flatbush and go out that side of town, they can literally go through the drive-through window and just, you pull up, you look, you're gone.
It's gotta be right hand only.
Right hand only.
Yeah.
Because it would be a narrow entrance, that would be,
That was the initial,
like a narrow entrance that's also
So
curved.
no entry on that side.
No entry, just an exit to go up Flatbush Avenue. I mean, if you're gonna go up to 32, or you're going up East Chester Street, or going to the, Wolf Tech, or any of the, like the,
I know.
the apartment complex there. Because right now, they're gonna come to that stop line at Flatbush Foxhole, and they're gonna sit. Because you've got a 5-corner intersection, and those lights are a little bit long, because you've got Flatbush, Foxhole,
And traffic's
And
not
down.
getting the left out of there unless.
But it'll
unless
have to be
somebody's
designed in a way that, like a continuous curve, so
That's what I mean.
it's not gonna invite people to come in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or make a left.
There's a
turn.
lot of drive-throughs that have those, even McDonald's did that with the front of their building, where you could swing to the left and go back out through the neighborhood instead of, I was just thinking it's just a quick, like it's not every car, but you might be like every third car is like out.
It's on the traffic flow coming in on Flatbush, if you're, that would be a major waiver, because it would go against the one location it is now.
Just like the cannabis.
No, I'm just,
I'm just saying, if.
I understand, it's not what's before us, but I just, as a board,
And then how about?
because that is a short drive-through, and you're gonna have people waiting to get in.
Major waiver.
I mean, we see that from the town.
Which is going to occur in the second curve.
I mean, I would certainly run it past John again with just the one way out and that it's not an entrance in.
Just to try and get less pedestrians in the parking lot, less cars going to the parking lot, and less staff to get out of the parking lot. Because if you have one person who wants to make a right, nobody's ever going to be able to make a left.
I was wondering if
On
on
the
two
box.
right now, would you say, sure, we'll do that?
So that's the problem. First guy out, and he wants to go left,
Shoot first.
Oh, yeah, everybody's waiting.
everybody's waiting.
It could.
Does this sound like something interesting to you folks, or?
Well, we have it drawn, so,
Okay.
yeah. Consideration. It's one of the things we discussed
Okay.
with us.
Yeah, we
Yeah, so we're
wanna
just
talk
trying
to
to
John
avoid
again
waivers.
and maybe, explore it a little bit. Another thing that's just come up in internal conversation is what kind of, plan do you have if the queuing does get backed up? So that you are then interfering with traffic?
Oh, someone would be
Out to
taking
Foxhole,
orders,
so,
like, someone would be taking
Are
orders.
vehicles gonna be directed to pull into the front and maybe hold and then,
100%.
so what kind of, do you have that worked up?
I don't have it worked up per se,
Okay.
but, in any event, like when I go back to my West Coast roots, but like In-N-Out Burger or anything like that, you send someone out with the iPad.
Moonburger did that.
Okay, yeah, so.
Got a guy.
And they also have a
A lot
pretty
of the
tight.
drive-throughs do it.
Yeah, and so, between things like that, ordering online, is also, we're working on that being an option. When you pull in to park as well, you know, again, you can order online or we can meet you out. If everything's getting crazy, we definitely.
If somebody orders online, do they go through the drive-through or do they go into this, like if I ordered in advance to go and went to pick it up? how-
Grab and go. Like,
You go to the grab and
you
go up front, you don't go through the drive.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, just asking.
Yeah, drive-through's drive-through, like you're just.
Okay.
Yeah. Like online, that, again, that'll be a little later, but, as far as, I mean, the queues. I know the menu board kind of distance is something I was also trying to see if there was a way to do 2 queues that funnel into one, just for pickup, you know, just, much like a car wash kind of thing. And so if there was a way to, finagle that, that would be an option as well.
So the employees parking too, how many employees are you gonna have there?
They're probably only gonna be 4 to 6. And so employees parking, I would have to figure that out, but,
What's that gray hatched area in the lower right corner?
oh, that, garbage.
That's all garbage?
Yeah.
So the amount of parking spaces we have is in compliance with the maximum amount allowed for the square footage of the buildings.
So that area, the hatched area, allows for the garbage truck to back into the dumpster, which is in the rear corner there.
Yeah.
But it's also where they'll get deliveries, and
Yeah.
they'll also be able to do whatever product comes out of there, and then they go to market.
And the garbage truck and the delivery trucks would access it through where the cars would be queued.
No, they're gonna pull in and have to back out.
There's not enough turning radius for a garbage truck to go around the whole thing, is there? Probably not. Like to
Oh,
pick
no,
up
but I mean,
and then go around and get out.
I mean, just right there, like where those cars are queued with the order board.
Yeah, so yeah, we definitely intended for garbage truck or deliveries to be maneuvering, you know, primarily on the south and this portion of the site here. You know, we're really not trying to have them continue around into the drive-through area.
Okay.
And also, you know, Ashton's business plan is anticipating that, you know, any deliveries or garbage service would be occurring and, you know, be scheduled at times to not coincide with peak drive-through traffic.
Did you have hours set up that you were thinking of?
Yeah, 5 AM to 3 PM.
Now, coming,
7 days, excuse me.
now coming north towards south on Foxhall, left turn into there, is there gonna be, there's not enough space in there for a left turn.
Coming like down of Foxhall to go in?
Because you won't be, there's only one lane there.
Right,
So
so,
somebody's making a left.
so you're not gonna be able to let folks make a left into there.
You can make a left if there's not backed up. I mean,
Right.
you know,
If it's
if
backed up, that's what I will say.
somebody's gonna have to, you're gonna have to go around the block or find another way to, you know, get into that proper
Well, the
traffic
stop
pattern.
line at the light is
Yeah.
back further, so that's.
Yes.
But if people are already queued up to
And
that
it's
side.
backed up.
By all technicalities, the drivers should be clear. Should they?
Yeah.
Typically isn't, but should.
I mean, we hope you see a lot of traffic there, right?
Always a good thing.
Yeah.
That's the idea. But to keep it moving, you know, and, I mean, I know this might be semantical, but, as far as even the barista, we're doing it, everything's digital, like where, basically, the barista is the machine inside, you know, so so we'll never have a different cup of coffee is what, the way we look at it, and we don't have to hire or have some specialty that's always there doing it. Anybody can come in and make the beverages, so it'll, also to keep up with the speed, and it makes it faster.
And it's just coffee, or are you doing like bags of beans, or? is it-
We'll do bags of
just-
beans, yeah, and you'll be able to order your bags of beans, like at the drive-through window, like it'll be, you know,
But
added.
no food or?
If anything, we'll, outsource for like a croissant, but it's mainly just, coffee. And not any, frappuccinos or anything, just coffee, just coffee.
Macchiato?
Sugars.
6 lunches.
Excited to see the cycle.
Oh, yeah, yeah. You gotta copy that. By the way, I tried to get that traffic light before you bought it there.
Yeah,
He said, nope, that's going to the new owner, so. Yeah. That's staying on the building, right? That
wait,
traffic-
he took it.
He did?
Yeah.
Oh, he told me.
I thought he was leaving it for me. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna ask for it because I don't want to buy it, but.
All right.
So yeah, like I showed up, I was like, oh, I thought that was.
He said the new people were getting it. All right. He's down in the Carolina, Georgia now. I can't even get him.
Yep. So, oh, he actually did, he moved, he finally moved,
Yeah,
Sorry.
do you want to just go over the interior, how space utilization?
Sure. The site plan, this is the front, this is the side with the parking lots on it, parking spots on it. This is the demolition plan. Right now, it's two garage bays, which we're going to leave. We're going to have the roaster in one of the garage bays, and the other one is going to be mostly storage with its own exit out the back. And then we have the counter in the front with the window, the drive-up window here. And then we got the front sales area and an ADA bath. And then we've got another area in the back with its own bath. It seems like Ashton's got a little more space maybe than he needs. So he's cutting it a bit into two pieces in case this needs to in case his business expands or just trying to make sure that it's the space is working for him instead of just having these big spaces.
Yeah. Most per square foot.
Right. And then following up on another thing that Kayla sent, which has been super helpful, was transparency. We did the calculations and we needed 60% transparency on the front. We came in at like 56%. So I had modified these windows and made the front door into a panel, but it looks like we're going to revise the design and put the window back where it was, and put the door back where it was in order to get over the 60% transparency line. I think it comes out at 60.5. Yeah, we'll take it. But other than that, we're painting signage. We haven't worked out yet. We've worked with planning on making sure that we get the lighting levels right, the parking, the signage, and everything. A lot of that we're going to handle as minor site plan or staff approvals, trying to avoid as many waivers as we can, if any.
Can you just explain that?
What?
Can you explain to us that transparency on existing buildings that are pre-existing?
For natural light.
It's in the code, there's a section requiring a transparency, which is obviously the glass, the clear, and for commercial buildings, it's 60% transparency requirement on the ground floor. And when there's a change of use, which this is, then the new code,
Triggers all new construction to meet that requirement?
all new construction will definitely have to meet that requirement, yes, or request a waiver. In this case, he's keeping what he basically has, so that's the maximum we'll ask. He's not reducing it.
What does he have now? He's over 60?
You just had.
Just over 60. Yeah.
Just
So-
over
so no
60, so
modifications.
what he was thinking of doing was taking the one door out, creating a panel, which would have reduced him down beneath the 60. So that, because he would have reduced himself, and he wouldn't have qualified then for the percentage, would have triggered a waiver.
Oh.
Because as is, he meets it.
I got you. Yeah, and I like it the way it is, as is now, but it's more symmetrical.
Better.
And you're removing the sign at the corner too, are you?
I think we have to, right?
Yes.
Part of the code.
Yeah, that's probably gonna end up having to go anyway with the city's work.
Okay.
To go.
Do they have a monument sign out there? Or is this
No,
like
not
that?
allowed.
What about signage? You got a plan for signage?
Super simple, basically just something to go On top, I don't have it designed yet, I'm still working with my branding team to see exactly what we're gonna do. But basically, it's just gonna say the word coffee.
Any illumination on it or anything like that?
Working on that, possibly working with Light Bright or, you know.
Do you need some design on that, Sue?
Oh, yeah, he'll need to submit the sign plan and obviously, traffic circulation is gonna kind of play into that sign for the whole site. The sign design is gonna have to indicate, drive-through, lane only, enter only, exit only. Those simple things are gonna be included in any final sign.
All right.
Sweet.
And we kind of talked about circulation too, and markings and stripings and what have you, but do we want to wait till we meet next month about this? Because we're proposing that actually going out onto what directional.
Without, I mean, we can't give an approval yet tonight for the
I
existing.
think I think we want to obviously talk to John
But
about,
that topic aside, the application as it stands.
well, there's still lighting detail,
Correct.
signage
So I
detail,
think we
and
have to table it
landscaping.
anyways.
I'd like to have that a little bit more defined rather than letting that be a plan, a staff decision. I think that's, the board should be reviewing those kinds of things.
So I see you have the Plan B over here, right?
Oh, that's the
Is that
survey.
where
That's the survey.
that's where the exiting would take place onto?
No, that's the survey now. If there's a curb, there's an existing curb, yeah, there's an existing curb cut on Flatbush now.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like bollards there now blocking or?
No,
No, I should, but,
Okay.
yeah.
So it would really follow that same pattern right there, right?
Yeah. And it's and both curb cuts are very, very large. Yeah. So there's.
I mean, before they waste their time for the month, do you want to take the temperature of the board that if they propose that, if it's something the board would find acceptable?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, I just don't want to waste the time and then go back next week and what other board members don't like it, so.
Well,
I mean, me personally, I think that a right only with the proper curbing, pointing them up Flatbush would help alleviate congestion in the parking lot with pedestrians, and it would help alleviate stacking on Foxwell Avenue waiting for a light. That's me
Okay.
personally, because you can't make a right on red at Foxwell because the stop line is so far
Right.
back. So I'm in favor of that, but that's my opinion.
And like Sue said, that would be a major waiver having that second egress.
Correct, but I would.
But I'm gonna agree with you. I like that proposal too. I want to make sure that,
Other members want to.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure, how do we-
express thoughts?
how do we stop
That's the
people?
way it is now,
Yeah.
so they can't use it.
Right, but
It just-
just
it needs to be
because
resolved.
that's the way it is now,
Like, it
it's
needs
not.
to-
No, but, I mean, it makes sense.
I
That
think,
or-
obviously,
Robust
without
sign.
any, without a lot of activity there, there's probably a lot of cut-through traffic at the same time to
That was a
avoid
concern.
that light,
Yeah.
I would suspect.
Yeah, I think that would be people using it as a cut through.
Yeah,
Is there I know the existing curb cut is there, but is there the ability to set it back a little bit further so that it literally came off the drive-through and people were turning out kind of off the drive-through, making the right-hand turn on Flatbush Avenue in more of a curve, so it made it harder for people to come in.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we had done when we met with engineer. And so, yeah, you would come up around the back and just go straight up and out. Yeah.
I mean, there's no sidewalks proposed in Flatbush, correct, so it would be less pedestrian traffic than.
The sidewalk's on the other
There's
side.
no
of the-
sidewalks planned on that side of Flatbush with the improvement project
They're
either.
gonna cross the street and then.
Right.
Yes, sidewalk around the
Big
corner.
headlights.
So there would be less, right, so it would be on the opposite side, which means there would be less pedestrian
So Jim,
traffic.
Jim,
Right, from the exit.
I'm sorry, Jim, were you suggesting moving the pickup window then too? Is that what you just pointed at or no?
No, just the relocate the curb cut, so it was straight off the drive-through.
But
Oh,
we-
I see what you mean.
it would
No,
be-
I get what you mean, because the pickup window's here.
Yeah,
So
there's
just
two
focus.
windows, there's one around the back. But you
Here.
would have, yeah, you
It was
would
here
be
and
able-
here.
Like if we, the proposed drive-through window is here. And then, so there's another window back
Okay,
here. So there could be
But in the
a,
second window, can you,
like, if we hit here and then just like,
Like chop off, like,
again, the curb cut we're suggesting is just moving
Bring
it
it
back
back.
to
Yeah,
kind of
say-
here. So
moving it
just,
more towards the railroad tracks and
I
maybe
think it
that
would
would.
just give people they'd feel like if they were pulling in that way, they would hit they would almost hit the
the
building.
building, the building, exactly.
Right, they don't wanna come in that way and hit the building.
Curve it in a
So
way
it's-
so that they're not gonna wanna make a left.
No, you can, yeah, we can even put like a wedge there, you know, like, I've seen that before.
So if you can come up with a design for that, we're gonna table tonight anyway, so we can.
there's a solid curve so that people coming down Foxwell can't make a left and cut through your parking lot. Because they would basically go up over a median.
Vince, are you okay with that second egress, where if we move to, like, I'm feeling the same way.
I'm okay with that. Agreed.
Sage,
Yeah, agreed.
I like your suggestion with that too, and Andrew, how you feel about that? Okay,
Her suggestion,
what's that?
her suggestion is putting that like a little diamond shaped thing so you can't come over.
Yeah, however they gotta do it to get people to really not wanna make a left on the Flatbush coming out of there,
Yeah, it would definitely be exit right handle.
And we'll pass it, we'll have our engineer look at that too.
Okay.
Like Sue said, when we do vote on it, it's gonna have to be a major waiver that we're gonna be voting on as well, so that'd be a separate vote, so. But we got a good temperature here to the board on that,
Okay.
I think. So
We're gonna get landscape detail. and
we can talk about that
So
now.
basically, what we're going to want to see working on is that the plan for,
Yeah.
and that if you can get to us as quickly as possible, so that we can sit with the city engineer and talk to him about that as well. But the landscaping, the signage and the lighting, if we can start to work on those elements, and then a plan for the backup traffic, how, just kind of put into writing how that is going to be addressed if queuing does become an issue and traffic is backing up. And I think that was all that I had, unless people had anything else.
I have a couple questions.
Mhm.
First of all, we did have that second exit coming out onto Flatbush, but I believe it was Tom who said.
John.
I keep calling him Tom. John said, was the one who recommended that we close off.
That's who I want to talk to you again about, right?
Okay.
Now that we've got the board's kind of input and we're talking about just an exit only,
Okay.
I think
heading out in a certain direction.
that was the original proposal. Yeah.
So I want to.
And you're gonna modify how the existing condition is right now. We're gonna, you're not gonna use that as, come back next month.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
So as far as the the special permit goes, that's all tied into what happens next month. There's no way of getting that granted today.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's tabled. Okay. I
Did
just
you
want to make
talk
sure.
about this, the fence? Did you see the requirement in the code about the fence on the perimeter line?
I did not.
Okay. Well, that's in there.
It's in there too.
So I just
Okay.
want to mention that, but it's in that list. I think we got caught up emailing back and forth about some of the other items.
Right.
But I just wanted to mention that too.
So the big ones that would be reviewed by the planning board and not in staff would be lighting and signage.
Yeah, well, it'll all come back. It'll all come back to the board.
Okay.
And colors of the building too, what are you looking at with
Say that
that?
again?
Colors of the building?
Right now, the proposed one is kind of a monochrome lustrous yellow, kind of. If you look up Autonomous Coffee, you'll kind of see what our color palette is. But we're gonna keep it very simple, cheap, just very inviting, nothing loud. Kind of keeping on the 50s car garage-esque, kind of,
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm a coffee snob too, so, yeah.
We're definitely.
I'm glad you're roasting there too.
Yeah, we're roasting there too,
Yeah, good.
Does anything need to be done with engineering on any of that?
Sorry?
Does anything have to be done with engineering on any of that, roasting, sewers, cleanouts, traps?
No, you don't need grease traps and stuff, because you're only doing coffee, there might be like, I don't know if there's anything like with organic stuff there.
No, I
Too
mean,
much into,
it's just, I mean, anything that comes out is chaff, so it's all,
do you like compost?
yeah,
Okay.
we have been working with community composting. stuff.
We've also reached out separately to the city engineer to
Okay.
double check and coordinate on
Oh,
that.
sweet.
Oh, good exchange tonight, I think.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate
Thanks for having me.
your input here too.
Keep the hearing open.
Yeah,
We're just gonna keep it open for 3 weeks.
what do you suggest the date,
Just for written comment.
for 3 weeks? What would the date of that be? Based on the changes we proposed tonight, folks, here.
May 6th.
May 6th, May 5th,
6th.
Six, okay.
at close of business. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that way the public can see what, the changes that are being made, and if they want to weigh in, they certainly have that opportunity. So, everybody good with keeping the public hearing open until May 6th?
For written comment.
For written comment? Okay. Good. Anything else from the board? Sarah?
I'll just mention that I did mention to my colleague from Ward 6, this is on the agenda, and his only comment was, I'm so glad to see something's being done with that site.
Good. I'm
And
glad.
this sounds great.
All right.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. All right, so at this time, I'll make a motion that we table item number 5, and we're keeping the public hearing open until May 6th, close of business. Written comment. Robert with a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. See you next month.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, folks. All right, item number 6 is 9 Prince Street. It's a site plan to construct 8 additional units on an existing multifamily property. Section block and lot is 56.26-6-11. Secret determination, Transit Zone T4N-0, Ward 9, CBG, Kingston 1. Is that 1 LLC, Kingston 1? Okay, applicant owner. Welcome, folks, again. State your names for the record.
I am Courtney Green.
Okay. So I understand you ran into some rock there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, with the previous zoning code, we would have had to have certain setbacks, and the hill there, the amount of rock in it, which is something we sort of suspected, but proved to be too formidable to make it a workable project. And so once we learned that all these changes were afoot, we took that opportunity to do full redesign. Not really of the units themselves, which are the floor plans, which are largely unchanged, but the orientation of the building, without the off-street parking requirements and without the setback requirements, so that we don't have to touch the hill at all, so.
So now you're just doing a spin kind of the,
Exactly, it's all lined up that way instead of that way, so it's really the same building more or less, just moved. And without having to make a gigantic parking lot, without having to take all those trees down, it just creates a much more natural, we can keep a lot more things intact on the parcel, while also, providing the same units with off-street parking there, and actually some room for some on-site parking with the current lot, which has way more spaces than tenants,
Okay.
so.
now I know with the old proposal, there was a lot of dialogue about the design, how it looked from the street, balconies, what have you. So with the new design standards, how is that, what's it gonna,
Yeah, we've got some.
Am I jumping ahead?
No.
Elevation
We just had
materials
some-
have changed,
Okay.
to conform now to the
Right.
new code.
We've been back here a few times
Yeah,
to
we do have
discuss,
some
so.
new elevations that,
Okay.
were just
They're
submitted.
coming, it's just,
So we have renderings that are done that'll give probably the best idea of what it's gonna look like. Any changes that were made, were to conform with the new code, the materials and the sort of more,
Historical nods, I guess.
Okay.
So this would be the print side. As you can see, we wanted, all that rock there is being left there because that would be a huge undertaking. So we sort of designed it to enter this way or around it and just keep all of that there. So that would be, it's, the color scheme is similar, the interiors are similar, but we've changed all the materials to.
So a couple of things, we were looking at this, after I spoke with you earlier this morning, and there's a little bit of space between where you see in the middle there, that front staircase going up to a landing before you head up to the second level. That's actually pushed back a little further. That's, off the sidewalk a few feet. It appears to be right on the sidewalk there. So on your plan, there's a distance between that and the sidewalk itself, right?
You're talking about the facade of the building is pushed back?
No, the
step or
land, the stone landing there. It looks like it's right on the sidewalk, but on the plan, it's actually set
Oh, it's
back a
on
few feet.
Yeah, it's on the property line, which
Yeah,
is
so
set back from the
there's a
sidewalk.
little green space. I just wanted to point that out, because so there's gonna be a
Yeah,
little green
that's true,
space
yeah,
in
there's
front
an
of that.
accuracy with
There's
that,
a little
yes.
runners, you have to go back and forth with them without
Right.
trying to get this
So
done for today,
That's true.
but yes, there would
It is
be
set back, yeah.
a bit of setback there. But otherwise, I think the general appearance is pretty much true to what all the materials we've already selected and the manufacturers of those materials, to get the specs pretty accurate, so.
This is the front.
This is Prince Street.
Yeah,
Yes,
and this
is
will
the
be
front.
the front, because I remember the last time it was facing.
It was facing Fox Hall.
Well, that was kind of the back of the building, right?
Well,
It was the
it
front.
was ambiguously the front, and
Yeah.
it's weird with the corner lot, but
Yeah.
now there's much more definitively up front,
Right.
and the balconies are all in the back. That's not facing Fox Hall either. If you have the other rendering, we could show you sort of a corner view. So you can see that the Fox Hall facing side and the Prince facing side are all considered sort of front dish, and then everything else is kind of facing the other building and back to keep that less.
What's the back look like as you go down Foxhole?
You would see balconies and fence there, and then there's a little utility room, but everything's sort of fenced in, so you would basically be seeing.
Is there a rendering of that?
We have a back
There's a drawing.
elevation, that sort of shows what it would look like, coming down Fox Hall.
I think this side also has, the landscaping is not fully on that rendering the way it is shown on the landscape plan. There are some taller arborvitae's towards the back of the building that would screen
That's the back.
some of those back balcony areas. I think that there's maybe some room for a little bit of mix up of more landscaping along the side there.
Yeah, and then the hill starts, and there's trees there, so.
The corner you're talking about? The corner?
No, well, on the side of the
Okay.
building, yeah.
So the new code puts this on Foxhole?
I'm sorry,
On Prince?
the new front is on Prince.
That's not a code, that's because of the rock they encountered and the.
And the setbacks requirements changing and the parking requirements changing. So that we can keep this building actually a lot further away from the existing buildings and keep the hill and keep trees on the hill. So if you're coming down Fox Hall, you actually don't see, you see hill and you see trees first, and then because it starts up here and it goes down to the corner, so.
I live on Highland, so it'll be nice to see all those trees still there.
Yeah, and I'm, glad to keep, I don't want to remove trees that I don't have to, so, and the other residents like their trees, so it's disturbing them less, so.
So the amount of units is still the same as the old one?
Yeah, it's basically a very, very similar, not almost identical building in terms of the layouts, the unit count, everything. It's just like pulled this way and turned towards Prince Street to like completely remove it from the hill.
I think another thing to identify here is it's not a flat facade, but that the building itself, if you look at the plan, kind of steps back in sections so that it's not a completely one front.
Okay.
It has an appearance, there's a depth, a distinction. That's another slight change with this.
Yeah, it's not just one thing there, it goes this way, then this way,
Right.
it's a little staggered. Make it more interesting.
I like the rocks out front there, that looks nice.
Like, if you don't have to touch them, why touch them? Like, trying to blast through that would be
We had
less fun.
sent some comments from the engineering on the stormwater. Have you?
We've sent those to the engineers and we have a phone call with them tomorrow. They don't think that those are gonna be difficult to address, but
Okay.
they wanted to wait till this meeting was done.
Okay.
And in case there was anything else that came up, but they already have
Just
them.
have to redo the contours slightly.
Okay,
Because they were dumping water into the dumpster area, maybe that could just be
Right.
regraded differently.
So we have a call with them either tomorrow or the next day to just get them,
It's pretty minor
but
stuff.
they didn't find them to be, oh no, we have to like.
they had a comment about one of the large trees.
About
is-
not moving it.
Yeah, in one plan, they're showing protection for the tree, and then in the other plan, it's showing that the entire area is to be regraded right there, so if you're regrading that, the trees
I
obviously.
think we'll have to redo those contours around the tree.
So you're gonna
Yeah.
save, you're gonna try and save that tree.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
It's
just
a
go
big
talk to them
tree.
tomorrow, we'll get a
Yeah.
better idea of what,
Okay,
what they're thinking.
That's good.
But they've already had time to review it, so now we're just gonna talk to them, so
Okay.
what are we doing about all these things?
okay.
Is this dumpster enclosure for the whole property?
It will be, yes. There's an existing dumpster, but it won't be big enough for this many units, so this is designed for everybody. It's not, it's sort of between all the units, but not too close to any of them, so that we can just keep things contained to one.
So that's where the current dumpster is.
More or less, yeah, but it's small,
Okay.
because it's just serving, fewer
Okay.
tenants, so this would be a more formal enclosure that actually has a recycling side too, because right now the tenants just use the city
Okay,
recycling bins, but I don't think that will be enough. And I don't want like 7 recycling bins lined up, so this will be one hauling company that does both with 2 dumpsters in there.
we're on the landscaping plan, so just a couple of points. At the end of the driveway, you've got a row of pretty dense arborvitaes that are good for a screening hedge. I'm a little bit concerned about the one on the very end. I just move them back one, so you just have that same number there, but just move it back so that people exiting don't have to pull out into
Okay.
the sidewalk
Block the vision.
area to see traffic, so that would be one comment there.
Okay.
The other comment is along the foxhole side, I like the arborvitae that you chose, the globe. I think that's a great,
Mhm.
I like that choice. I just would hope for more, like a little bit of a mix in height on that side. I think, rather than kind of keeping them all level,
Mhm.
I think you have an opportunity there to introduce some color, maybe rhododendron or, another type of a burning bush shrub or something that can grow a little bit larger, create color at the same time to give a little variation there. You also have the pencil thin arborvitaes in the back. And then I'm not sure that the number that you're proposing are going to achieve what you're looking to achieve. I think what you're trying to do is really kind of create a screen, a natural screen for the backside of those balconies and that,
Yeah.
your residents, so they have a little bit of privacy break there. But that's a really thin, and I don't know that they grow
about 2
dense unless you,
feet to 30 inches, I think they get to be.
yeah, you only have like 6 there though. That's not,
I drew the scale, I think it comes back.
Yeah,
I can
I-
double check the overall size. how they
yeah,
put
I'm
the data
even thinking rather than a straight row, stagger them a little maybe, and that might.
To make it denser.
Yeah, you might, if you stagger the row versus a straight
Oh,
line,
okay. Well,
might
okay.
allow them to spread even a little bit more, maybe give you a little
Okay.
bit more better
Mhm,
effect. I don't know, I was just thinking alternatives there.
Is there any opportunity, because I know it's rock, but is there any opportunity behind that first patio along Foxwell, like on the hill there, to put some type of tree or pine or bush or something that will grow up and kind of block just the back of the whole monologue building? Just soften it, because if you're driving down Foxwell Avenue, you're basically gonna see the row of the whole back of the building. So is there a kind of screen a little bit?
Maybe a little, but there is a hill there that blocks,
a lot of it.
when you're coming down, you see the hill, you don't, you're not gonna see the building as the first thing, and if you do, it's not It's not like a heinous back, like, it's like, it looks
Well,
like
that's
the
the thing, I
front.
don't know what it looks.
Well, we showed the elevation of the
I know,
back.
and I'm seeing nothing but balconies and staircases, so I don't know how the landscaping
So
fits
there are
into
no
that.
staircases in the back.
Can you bring that back up?
It's just that, so it's just more windows and balconies, but it's not like an offensive, like, there's nothing to hide back there that looks any appreciably worse than the front, so,
That's,
those units will
are
be
those
fenced.
shadows, or is that a staircase?
Those are just shadows of the balcony, so it's a pretty clean, I don't know,
I mean, are you gonna see all the air conditioning units from the street?
you know, we're gonna fence those with, so. And they're in, and so if you're driving, it's not, I don't think it's gonna be the first thing that like comes jumping out at somebody.
But I'm just driving down Foxville, I know the building, you have a rolling lawn going up to the house, you've got the stone wall.
Right.
And as I'm driving down, I'm gonna see the back of a 4-unit building, right on the corner.
If, we do have to table this because it has to get referred to the county. Okay, we reached out and they want it re-referred because the change they felt was significant enough, so, maybe what you can do is.
Provide some pictures of view.
Yeah, I'm just saying maybe you
Kinda
can do a rendering just kind of from that
I think
direction.
the whole
for-
first story is gonna be blocked by that,
Right.
as you're traveling down.
That's the part I'm not
But that,
understanding,
you
I mean,
can
I see
show
a
that,
3-story
show
building,
the
3-story building.
topography rather than just this, and show how the topography and the existing maybe vegetation, or
actually
trees that are
see.
being retained
Like you did on the
will
front,
help to.
with the rock and the plants and everything. So as I'm driving down and I get a little bit closer,
So those trees are still there,
is that big pine tree staying there?
that's staying there, those big trees right there are staying
Yeah,
there.
but Carla,
So,
can you go down the street?
Is that I don't think.
I don't think the biggest
Evergreen.
pine is, but these
Yeah,
are.
right, I think.
So
this-
as you drive down,
Right, but
then
just
you'll
go-
start to see the building peeking
So
out here.
Carla, can you go down to that second car? Right, so when I'm here, am I seeing back of a 3-story building right there?
You are.
So the question is, can we put a tree or something so it's not so obvious of a 3-story
Mhm.
block? Because your whole property has trees, but that's just what I'm,
Mhm.
I'm not sure what we
I'm-
could
I'm
block the back. Like, it's a big building, you're gonna see it no matter where you are, from the front or the back, so I don't know how you.
Right, but I mean, you could soften, I mean, maybe just, if you add a tree, maybe it'll help soften, you know,
And it's not gonna be a tree, a mature tree, it'll, when it matures, it'll.
Yeah, and I think, you know, and putting in the landscaping and, you know, from this view, I think what it would look like from this view, David, would be a good piece of information.
the question is, if you drive down the street, once the building's built, do you feel like you're like in somebody's backyard?
I don't think anywhere than from the front, or,
Yeah, but the front is the front with the designscape and landscaping and your stairs, and it's more done. I'm thinking the back is gonna be basically more of a stripped down back building with
but it's
air
not.
conditioning units, and you're saying that, but I'm not seeing
Well,
it.
the elevation, like the color scheme, the trim, it's all on the back as much as it is.
Do the tenants have doors in the back? Are they able to come out their units from the backside?
Yes.
Yeah.
There's balconies.
On the bottom, like on the lower level.
They were like glass.
I mean, I would say if I'm living in a lower unit,
Well,
the
they
more,
fenced in.
the more privacy I have in the backyard.
Yeah, those lower
Cars
things are
driving
gonna be
by.
fenced in, it doesn't show that on these, but
Okay.
those will actually be fenced as private yards, so that if they have a pet or something, and they wanna let them out in the yard, like, they're gonna be fenced in.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's
car is
just, it's
not
just
gonna
giving
be-
people as much privacy as possible.
For sure, that's a huge priority, that's why I'm making those for them, that's why they're getting fenced in, so. Trying to understand if we're worried about the drivers or worried about the tenants here,
On the
because
same sheet.
Yeah, yeah.
like,
Is there a way that that kind of crown molding at the very top can go around the whole building? It might make the back look more complete, I'm not sure.
We're trying to save money.
Okay, gotcha, all right. so
back
yeah,
the side, like, this is kind of unfair,
Okay,
because
all right.
it's a corner, so it's like,
Yeah,
you can't make every side look,
yeah, no,
And we would put it on Foxhole, you know, we have
Try to
returns.
build this thing, so there's certain cuts that you have to make, so.
So what do we need from Wicker?
Well, I mean, we spent meeting after meeting putting this on Foxwell, because Foxwell is the main avenue with all the traffic that everyone's gonna look at. Now we're switching the building around, which I'm fine with. I understand why it's being switched. But I'm not seeing any renderings in the back. I'm being told there's fences, I don't see fences. I'm being told there's landscaping, I don't see fences. All I see is that bottom picture, and if I'm going down Foxhole and that's what I'm gonna see directly, that's not sufficient.
Okay.
That's my own opinion,
Okay,
but
so
I don't know
there's-
what other members think.
I mean, are you looking, you're not looking to obscure the whole back of the building, is it?
No, I'm just looking to soften what I see right now, is just siding and air conditioning units.
So,
But that's not coming, you don't see all of that coming down Foxhole.
I mean, that's, you know,
the
that's
extent
what
of-
you're telling me, but I don't have a rendering. So,
You can get the rendering, but.
So
You know, there has to be a back of every building.
correct, but they can also be softened through landscaping, that's the purpose
Sure.
of having it.
Yeah, and how much of it do you want obscured here?
Again, I just asked for a tree, and we've been kind of arguing for about 10 minutes. and I
Sure,
need
we
a
can put a
rendering
tree
So I
there.
know what it looks like.
It's gonna do what you want that to.
Right, so.
I'm only one member, so it's
No,
up to the members what
and,
they
and
think.
she has weighed in on to Sage, it makes sense, if we can get a, you know, a rendering of that side, some softening, however you gotta, you know, make that happen.
We had this issue with Stewart's going down certain avenues and other buildings in Kingston where we had complaints afterwards because people were like, why is this so obvious on main thoroughfares? Foxhole, Albany Avenue, Broadway being the main thoroughfares.
Okay.
Is this gonna get a new sidewalk as part of that plan for complete streets or what's?
Yeah, this section of Foxhole will be part of that whole reconstruction, yes. To Broadway,
Are they doing sidewalks both sides, one side, or,
both sides of Foxhole.
and are they ripping all the bluestone out for those?
Most likely, yes. I don't have the final plan. It's in design.
So with all these plans, why do they keep ripping up? I mean, why do we say bluestone if the whole city's gonna be patchwork? Based on these projects?
Well, the bluestone that is taken up is saved and
Reutilised for other
it's
places like
reused.
Stroh.
But if you are, when they are doing work in historic districts, bluestone is used. If a project runs through a historic district, then they use bluestone. They reset bluestone or they buy new and put in new bluestone. And the method of putting it in is a little bit more involved than it has been in the past, historically.
But ultimately, we have a city full of bluestone, and with these projects, we're getting different types of textures.
No, when they redo a street, they basically will use concrete. Yeah, they're not gonna use any other paper material, they'll use concrete. And obviously, they're installing ADA curb ramps at intersections. Again, if they're in a historic district, those intersections are stamped and dyed concrete versus the regular white material.
Because I saw they use concrete in the Stockade District on the corner by Hoffman.
That's dyed and stamped. Yep, because you can't get the bluestone that is ADA compatible. I've seen it done, but it's very expensive.
You've looked at lighting details already, right? They've provided that?
Well, with the lighting, there are 3 types that are referenced on the plans. There's a wall mounted light, a bollard, and a sconce. I guess they're called wall sconce. So we do need the detail cut sheets for those. I thought we had looked at them. Maybe we looked at them when we were in the meeting.
Yeah, we talked about the lighting.
But I don't know, we couldn't find them in our file paperwork.
You should have told me, so I know you have them.
Yeah, I know we had talked about it when we met, right? So if you could just give us the cut sheets for
Okay.
those. They do know what the limits are. So they know the foot candle limits, so they are working with your electrical contractor, right? We'll follow that. There's a note on the lighting
Yeah.
plan for that as well. You're gonna be using commercial hauler for your refuse, right? You have a commercial hauler now,
For the dumpsters?
refuse,
Yes.
garbage
Yeah, I
pickup.
do have one now. They would
Okay.
just put a larger dumpster.
So we, like I said, we do need to refer this back to the county and, Parks and Rec again.
Yeah, because it's a new application.
Yep.
I know, so the number of units hasn't changed, and we recommended that the full fee was gonna be assigned to this, so we're gonna do that referral back to,
Right.
okay.
And I think we resent you the original county comments which you addressed. I don't suspect that they'll have anything different. So if your responses are going to, I mean, they might change slightly because the configuration of your plan has changed. So just take a look at those and maybe, I'm presuming they might be the same comments that come back. All right.
And Sue's already talked to you about the affordable housing component too, there's.
Yes, you're aware.
Well, it's, yeah, the whole site's already.
Yeah.
It's one
Yeah.
So one unit for that?
already existing.
Okay.
And we'll talk to engineering after you speak with them. Larry's gonna have a conversation with them, I take it tomorrow, Larry or you?
We are gonna have a conversation with, Christian, his son, who's the dude.
Larry's son.
Okay.
He's now the one who's largely doing these projects, but yeah.
Okay.
We have to talk to him first to make sure he understands what's going on, what the fixes are, and then they have to go and make them and send them back to you.
Okay.
For the engineers. to look
Yeah,
at.
I mean, their comments weren't insurmountable.
They
I mean,
weren't,
They
like,
just
concerned
wanted,
about them.
they wanted some check valves
Yeah.
in one place, and they had questions about some of their comments. I mean, they were not anything
Yeah, minor
significant,
stuff.
I didn't think. Yeah.
We've got the rendering, which is a tree. And what else?
There will be one waiver, it's the next item, so before we, I just
Can we
wanted-
do that tonight and?
I would just
Do we have-
maybe do
wait?
it all in one resolution at the end of the day, but just so that you understand, there is one major waiver associated with this new application that the board will consider. In the code, in this transect, the first floor has to be 16 feet high, floor to ceiling. So they're proposing 10.3. So, for the ground floor, and we see no issue with that because the elevation difference between the street and their first floor, finished floor, if you made it a 16, you're gonna make the building look taller. So it brings it down a little bit. It's still a good 9-foot first floor ceiling that they'll end up with.
And did the 16-foot requirement have to do with like a commercial space more than, because this is residential related?
Potentially, but it doesn't distinguish between
All right.
commercial or.
That would be a high ceiling for most apartments, I would say, but, I mean, they
It'd be
exist.
a nice high ceiling.
But it would be a lot of space.
All right, so anything else?
You know, he proposed a tree, which I agree with. But to get it to any height, to really do any screening.
Well, it will have to grow. Right, is that what you're saying?
Tree.
Intelligent comment.
I don't think that's what I'm here for.
The foundations of a screening situation back there.
Would it be an evergreen tree? Because a citrus tree is nothing in the winter time. Okay.
What does
I think
citrus
Sue
trees-
thought maybe some arborvitae's in front.
I mean,
They have-
there's probably
they have
something.
arborvitae.
One thing that's going to drop a ton onto the.
Understand.
I
You could probably work
understand.
it.
That may be a solution, but the plan of record tree, it's gonna take 30 years.
Staff can work with that.
If you
Look at any
throw in
page.
a
She's gonna do any screen,
Other
unless
types of.
she suggested some screen.
Rhododendron is probably one of the most popular because it's very hardy and it is an evergreen and it does flower, so it gives color and they grow substantially, they can grow substantially large. And they can grow in rocky soil environment too, so. I mean, that's.
What kind of tree is it?
That's a rhododendron,
Oh.
but you know, I mean, there are other species we can look at. I can talk to
Okay.
David and Courtney about it.
Okay, so we're gonna refer this to the county planning board. We're also gonna refer the parks fee, recreation fee to the Parks and Recreation Department. In this,
Yep.
between meetings. And that's it, right? For that?
That's it, and then we'll work with you to address some of the questions that were brought up tonight, and
All right,
yeah, we'll be
so
back.
at this time, I'll
Plan
make,
on the next meeting then, being here for the May meeting.
Yes.
In terms of the submission deadline for everything, that's probably creeping up on us already. And I want to make sure the engineers have a little time to, do we have some flexibility with that?
Yes,
To make
absolutely,
sure we get everything.
yeah, we'll work with you on that.
all right, so at this time, I'll make a motion that we approve item number 6.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm so used to saying. So, yeah, we're gonna table item number 6 and refer to the county and Parks and Rec.
Right.
Those two items. Got a second on that. Second by Vince Archer. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Do I gotta read item number 7?
Yes,
Is that
and
gonna
then
table that?
table,
Okay. This has to do as major waivers. Item number 7 is 9 Prince Street, major waiver. A deviation from section 405.7D. First floor height is where 16 feet is required. 10.33 feet is proposed. Section block and lot is 56.26-6-11. Seeker determination, transect zone T4N-O, Ward 9, CPG Kingston 1 LLC is the applicant owner. As we did with item number 6, I'm making a motion to table item number 7 until we can move on one big fell swoop. Matt has a second on that. Any question? Okay, all in favor? Aye, opposed, carried. All right, we'll see you next month, all right?
And the county is May 1st, you said, or the
Ulster County.
Yes, I think it's May 1st.
So they'll have comments back in time for.
Yeah, we'll push them for the comments, and we have representatives that sit on the county, so if there's questions, they generally will get in touch with us and let us know verbally what they are first.
Thank you, folks. Thank you. Any other business before the board?
To go back to number 4.
Oh, number 4, that's right.
Motion that we deny number 4.
That's your motion?
Motion.
Design based on what?
How many months have we been requesting the applicant to appear before the board? And 2 or 3 months now?
It has, but
Based on that.
just to clarify, we have emailed and called him. I have not been able to get anyone on the phone.
The applicant's responsibility is to submit an application to make meetings. We're going on 3 and next month will be 4.
Well, he did submit, this application was tabled when the fire inspector resigned and we didn't have a new fire inspector. So his application is technically in. It was tabled for a number of months. We called him back. We haven't heard from him since. So I don't, I don't.
I hear you, but can we, I want to.
But this applicant, this goes on. This is a repetitive pattern of delay. And this is like the 3rd or 4th time when we've had issues with the applicant and on the site. They generally get cleaned up, but it's a fight. My motion is to deny the application. If he wants to reapply, he can reapply and pay the fee.
Would you just say if you do entertain a motion to deny that you go through, because this is a renewal. So go through what he is not in compliance with based on the first, because that really, the first approved application. In addition to just the fact that he's not been appearing, definitely will not make a record showing how he's currently not in compliance with the conditions of the first permit that was.
And in the notes here, it does say that the property is in compliance with no violations. And I
Do we
understand,
have that from building? Is it
We
clear?
have that from the building department, yeah.
I understand what you're saying. And
I know, I mean, it's just-
I echo your frustration with applicants not coming in. And this, we've had this with this gentleman before, so I get it.
I mean, usually he's not in compliance, so if he is in compliance.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, then send a certified mail return receipt, he's gotta be here next month, or we're gonna deny it.
What we just talked about today, certified mail.
I'm okay with that. I'll withdraw my motion. Make a
Okay.
motion to table it. I mean, what does the other members think? I don't know.
I mean, since he's been in compliance, I mean.
If he's in
I'm just
compliance,
gonna-
I'm happy
I
he's in
want
compliance.
to, step
Typically,
back
it's
from
not.
that. And again, I understand your frustration with this. I get it.
I mean, people have to take responsibility
I
for
get it.
their own actions.
I get it.
This is, you submit an application, I mean, what do you think is gonna happen to it?
Does he still need a fire inspection or we?
He's had.
That's
one.
what-
Had it.
the,
Oh.
yeah.
And that did
No, that's
pass.
what
That's the one
a
that-
large part of the delay was, then there were some issues.
So building.
And they
so
went back
everything's gonna-
and building went, right.
So the only issue would be him not appearing before the board now, right? Is that,
Well, we'll also confirm his hours of operation.
Okay.
And you saw the past and new conditions, so, he's got to continue, so no junk cars can be
Right.
stored on the site, changes required. This
That-
is one, any changes are required to be submitted before they're undertaken, so
But
that's.
that's the
one.
problem, everything gets removed, we pass it,
Right,
and everything
so-
comes back,
and-
and then
and
we
so-
start all over.
I mean, so we'll table, we can, I'm agreeing to tabling, but do we have that, remember that section you were talking about before, we were talking about Furnace
60
Street?
days.
With that 60
But
day,
that's when he's not in compliance, right, so that would be applied,
can we do that for this?
yes, but you have to.
That's
what I'm
relates solely to if they're not in
With the site
compliance and you're going
conditions.
to deny based on the site conditions. So does he have the junk cars back, so he wouldn't be in compliance with these?
I don't believe that he does at this point, no, that was cleaned up.
So to address Roberts and the rest, and my concern too, is the fact that he's not showing up for meetings. What
Yeah.
recourse do we have that the next time, what if he doesn't show up the next time?
So where has this actually been, was it open for a hearing previously?
It was, so we had a public hearing,
On the initial one?
on the initial renewal. When he
When
brought
did
the application back.
Well, what's the date of the application on the file?
The problem with this one was that he was working with Tom from the building department and then he retired, he resigned.
Oh.
So we did not have a fire inspector to do the follow-up reinspection. So it was postponed. And then when Joe came on board, he was notified that this is still outstanding and he made an appointment to go.
So table.
But this is,
Meantime,
but just so you understand it, this is third meeting of no-show?
Yeah, it's at least the second, but yeah.
I think this is the second. I think this is.
And
for
confirm
this
that
particular
everything is in
renewal.
compliance, send out certified.
Third-
and then
this is
at the
third.
next- At the next meeting, you guys make a decision one way or
Tyler.
another.
Next meeting's fourth meeting.
And then can we implement that section of the code that 60-day thing? Is that,
Well,
Well, I mean,
You
technically,
have to look at the conditions
technically
of the
it
site to make sure
expired,
he's
but
not.
we tabled it.
yeah, he
Maybe
had
we'll
agreed
talk
to
about
table
it, yeah.
previously.
I'm just looking at
Let's
what's
start
the
with
teeth that's gonna
certified.
get him here, you know?
Right. But is he in violation? We'll have to
There's no
see whether the
mandatory
building department.
statutory.
Let's start with the certified mail.
Yes, yes, and the
Let's take the answer question for every
I
application.
understand that.
If you have questions about hours of operation, what other questions do we have?
Is there anything incomplete in the application still?
Not to my knowledge, no. No, it would just be compliance with all the original conditions.
I mean, I don't have any questions to ask him. He's been before us before. In fairness, we have approved other people when they don't attend. If the city, building department, fire safety, and everything's been cleaned up and it's fine, I'm okay with voting on it. I mean, the site is what it is, but I keep hearing, I mean, is he in
Yeah,
compliance or is he
think-
not?
I think currently he is in compliance with the building department. He does have a tendency to be out of the country for long periods of time. So I do feel like some of this, that is a lot of the time what we encounter. He is not from here, he visits home.
I would just suggest that everyone just turn to the subsection on renewals of special permits, because your jurisdiction is really quite limited with renewals.
Is there a stipulation that an applicant has to be here if it's a
There is
renewal?
no requirement. So I would just say,
So basically, we can't deny it because it doesn't show up, because there's no technical
that is not a
stipulation.
basis, and that's.
There's no
something
technical stipulation that he has to
Be
appear
very
for
successful.
I thought he was out of compliance. I didn't realize he's been in compliance.
So it sounds like if they're saying he's in compliance, if you
Maybe we
guys
have-
want to read through the section for renewing and what is required, and basically it's compliance with the conditions, and they have a.
Yeah, he was originally out of compliance. We had
Well, what you
food
may-
truck, we had cars, so we had.
But what you
fire.
may want to do is just limit it to 1 year, so that.
Yeah, but you're more than welcome to vote on it. It's up to you. We can either certify mail him, try to get him here for next month, or we can stop by there.
Or what's the point of having him here if he's in
But if you're,
compliance?
right, if you're
Exactly.
comfortable in voting on it, I don't know how Sue feels, but that's an option too.
And if we only do it for 1 year, he has to have his re-inspections done.
I would only
You
do
have
it
to
for
get
1 year anyways,
re-inspected.
because again, he gets in compliance, he's out of.
Right, that's what I'm saying,
compliance.
we don't wanna go any longer than a year,
No.
because then he's gonna.
And with everything we're talking about right now with the history, that 1 year renewal, it would bring it back forward this one.
We could do it that way. It
You can-
wouldn't
you can
necessarily.
stipulate that.
That would be a good stipulation.
I think so, because it's a pattern of behavior.
Does everybody agree with that stipulation there? That we have them come back to this, because, with other special permit renewals, we can give it the renewal, a year from now, they come back and it's just an administrative,
Now, if they came back for administrative review and
And it wasn't in compliance or there was.
do you guys take it back to us?
I
I'm fine with staff doing it. I mean, if they have to tell him you gotta move something, he moves it and he's happy, it just doesn't need to be on our agenda.
okay, so we don't want him coming, but if everything's good,
If staff and building are good with him on a yearly basis, I'm fine with it.
Okay.
He's been in operation for a long period of time. It's just, there has to be a tight watch to stay in compliance. That seems to be the pattern.
everybody good with that?
So how about, 1 year permit renewal with the condition that upon renewal, he is in full compliance. If he is not in compliance, then he returns to this board.
And one more thing, we talked about where the trailer was removed and the food truck is now on site. And we talked about reiterating.
Well, your original conditions,
Yeah.
it says in your conditions, any changes will be required to be submitted before they're undertaken.
Yeah.
Obviously, that has not happened in the past.
Now, where
So
the
that's a
current
condition of
vehicle,
approval.
but where the current vehicles and everything are they where the original approval? I mean, is he meeting his current plan, or is the plan been?
I was just gonna say that wherever where that truck is parked right now, the food truck is parked right now, we should reiterate to him that the original site plan was, and the original approval was those spaces where that truck is upon right now were supposed to be meant for parking.
So he's not in compliance.
So,
No, because he amended his site plan along the way to include the food truck.
And had that trailer approved.
Correct.
This has been going on since 2004, but he.
That's what I mean, so
Yeah.
is he in compliance or not? That you
No,
guys
yes.
have the maps to know.
Yeah, approval to
Yes.
park that there.
All right, then I'm.
okay, so if he did get approval, I think that's where I was, so much has happened here that everything is blurred,
Then that
so.
would work with-
Tell me about it.
But we do have, to answer, we do have a letter or confirmation from building safety that he's in compliance.
And we have an amendment on file, that the truck where it is now, is it is in proper.
That's
location.
part of the being in compliance with how building safety sees it.
just don't like the truck.
Yeah, so it's not on property.
All right, so you're
Son, it's property
So you and I are clear now.
Clear as chocolate milk, right? All right, so
We've been doing this since 2004.
So you're going to approve the renewal for a one-year term. All the original conditions will be carried forward. We're going to add board policy 19 to that list of conditions because they were not added in. And then he must be in full compliance at the time of renewal. Otherwise, he will return to the board.
Yeah.
The food truck was on Side Street, and then he moved it.
he took the trailer that was
He had a
there,
trailer on the site.
that's gone now. So it's actually less congested now.
But,
And he had an amended
we
site.
approved having the food truck
Yes.
on site.
Yes.
And so whatever parking space issue is,
Because
It
he purchased the lot on the other side of the street, if you recall, so his
Yeah.
parking was offset with the other
Offset parking. But you were saying, Wayne raised a question that he may be utilizing more parking space.
Wayne was incorrect. Because he didn't realize that the amended site plan had been
Yeah.
approved.
As I said, so much has happened. You know, it seems to be always living and breathing there, so. You have another question, you said? Okay, so what Sue just mentioned, we're gonna,
Type 2 first,
are we gonna do a seeker?
just recommend it as type 2.
All right, so under seeker, this is a type 2 action, so no further review of the board is required for that. So as Sue just iterated, I'm gonna make that a motion that we approve this for a period of 1 year. Do I have a second on that? Second by Sage. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. All right.
I have another question.
Yeah.
I've seen the paper kicking around with the council, site plan of town. And I know the board has always looked at historical elements and looked at buildings and facades, and streetscapes. And I didn't know if it was worthy of a conversation as to how the board felt, whether they should stay or go.
I think at this point in time, the board, it would be premature because there's a lot of information out there that is still being collected and
Will we be given?
vetted through the council discussion. I would encourage board members, while it's not something that you would be taking any vote on, not like the HLPC, I would encourage you to listen and participate in meetings that are going to be coming up. There will be public meetings. They've been, working to try and organize that.
Do we as a board though, have the ability to just weigh in, like as a group discuss and then send a letter to either the council and say this, here's our thoughts, or these are what our opinions are?
I think you can.
It doesn't
I just
come
think
out
it's- I think it's-
But you have no.
There's no
power.
official.
Yeah, I know we don't have any power, I'm just
I
saying,
think
is
you
it,
can, I just
I
think
think
it's
it's worth
premature
it.
right now. I mean,
well, what are we waiting on? A plan as to what they want to do?
yeah, I mean, Sarah,
Yes, I can tell you, at the last meeting, we decided that there should be an information meeting. It would be a public information meeting to relay, to have sort of a panel discussion, to have presentations just about different things going on, so the public is educated before we move into having hearings and, maybe there would be some questions and answers. But in terms of a public hearing where people are voicing their opinions, it was felt that the public should have full access to information before
So you're going to give the information to the public first,
there's going to be scheduled a public information meeting. Yes,
and at that meeting, the information that you're giving are different options?
no, just different, well, just answering questions, but also, potentially different options. I don't think it's really been determined yet.
There's
But
a
it's
mayor,
more information about the history, what it is, just sort of bringing people up to speed.
The 3-minute reported that the mayor said everything's back on the table, really, for
Yeah,
discussion.
I would say so. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I heard too, you know, it was back on the, you know, that's what Mayor Noel told me and Andrea told me it's back, Andrea told me back on, everything's back on the table, there's not like certain course.
No, there is no certain course. The council is not moving forward on any particular.
So there's
course.
no requests for proposals or anything like that at this point to?
No, there's going to be a public meeting scheduled at which,
But is it I'm just trying to understand, is it a public meeting where you as a government are providing information to the public and they're just listening? Or is the public venting to
Yeah, I
you
think
as to
it's
what's
to
opinion?
answer questions. It's
it'll be
to
answering questions, it's
Question
not.
answer.
That's
My
right, it's question
understanding is
answer.
it's an informational presentation.
Yes,
Primarily to provide information, yeah, the public can answer, but it's not a hearing.
it's not a
In the
hearing.
sense of, yeah, a prerequisite.
But it's not based on a specific proposal by.
No, they're
And
basically
for-
talking about,
No.
you know, options, the condition now, what,
Yes.
you know, all of the factors that will.
Costs of
Yeah.
keeping it upgrade.
And also giving the public an overview of the history of the pipe plan as well, a little bit like as to what pre-pipe plan was like, when the pipe plan came into place, and it just a broad overview providing information.
Right, and what happened with the reconstruction that happened, you know, subsequent to its initially being built, and just the whole history, information, costs, everything, so that when the public takes all that in, then they can come back and thoughtfully sort of respond as to what they'd like to see. What do they want to see?
Okay.
So I think it should work. I mean, I think having access to information will be very useful, because a lot of people don't.
Good point.
Are you going to, you're gonna live stream that?
Oh, I would assume so.
Every other meeting, so maybe after that
And when is this meeting?
meeting, then.
It has not been scheduled.
And does the schedule
We'll
that you sent out?
usually, if I get the information, I will certainly share it with the board members.
Good, very good. Thank you for speaking to that too.
You're welcome.
Any other business before this board? All right, I'm gonna make a motion that we adjourn. Second?
Just one quick thing,
Yeah.
we are working on updating the board policies. Because some of them obviously don't reflect the new form-based code, so probably at the next meeting, you'll get a whole new list of all the board policies that have been adapted to form-based code or removed completely because they're no longer an issue.
So you're trimming them down.
Well, yeah, rewording them, trimming them down, modifying, and we're doing a set for the planning board, major site plan reviews, and we're doing a minor site plan review set, so, because they are definitely needed different types of things, so. You'll have that next month, hopefully.
Okay. And there was a second on that by Vince Archer to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?